Allah's apostle said that the Jews were aiding the Meccans, so they were really the same enemy. But once Muslims had robbed every Jew of every possession and plundered every Arab, Mohammed needed a bigger target. So the prophet claimed that the Christians were allies of Allah's enemy. As a result, his companions plundered the Byzantine world for booty.
Bukhari. The prophet said, Khosrow will be ruined. There won't be a Persian king after him. Caesar will be ruined. There will be no Caesar after him. You will spend their treasures in Allah's cause.
Then speaking of a single enemy.
Quran 8, verse 73. Those who are infidels aid one another. Unless you do the same, there will be discord in the land. Those who accepted Islam and left their homes to fight in Allah's cause, and those who gave them shelter and assistance, are the true believers.
Hitler sang from the same hymnal. He said that Germany's leaders were supported by Jews, and said that the church was protecting them. Thus the political leaders, the Jews, and the church were actually the same enemy. But once he had subdued and raped them, he needed a bigger target. So he said that the Jews and the church were in cahoots with governments, on the left and on the right, promoting Marxism and democracy. They became an enemy that needed to be conquered, so that Nazi Aryans might rule the world uncontested. According to Der Fuhrer, you were either a Nazi or an enemy. Today you are either a Muslim or an enemy of Islam. Der Prophet saw the world in two pieces, the house of Islam or the house of war. This fundamental agreement between Islam and Nazism is why we must come to terms with Muhammad's legacy. For the only difference between Mein Kampf and the Koran is that Hitler was a more inspired writer than Allah.
Mein Kampf 153. Therefore, a number of essentially different enemies must always be regarded as one in such a way that in the opinion of one's own adherents, the war is being waged against one enemy alone. This strengthens the belief in one's own cause and increased one's bitterness.
We have seen how Muhammad's militants have become increasingly bitter. The poems they recited as they beheaded, enslaved, plundered, and raped the Qurayza Jews serve as proof.
Mein Kampf 144. Protestantism will fight every attempt at saving the nation from the grip of its most deadly enemy, as its attitude towards Judaism is fixed by dogma.
A translator's note says, when Hitler came to power, he immediately tried to place the governance of the Lutheran Church in the hands of men who were willing to alter its teachings. Pastor Ludwig Müller was named archbishop, but most clerics refused to accept Hitler's tampering. The most outspoken was Pastor Martin Niemöller. He was imprisoned on Hitler's command and held in solitary confinement. More than 1,200 pastors were jailed or slain. Islam agrees with Hitler's assessment. In the last 15 years, the fundamental Islamic government of the Sudan has murdered and mutilated 2 million Christians. The Quran is the reason why.
Quran 5, verse 33. The punishment for those who oppose Allah and His Prophet, making mischief in the land, is to kill them or crucify them, or to have a hand on one side and a foot on the other cut off, or to banish them from the land. Such is their disgrace in this world, and in the hereafter their doom will be dreadful. The unbelievers,
Jews and Christians,
punishment will surely be painful. They will not be able to escape the fire.
Allah said in the same surah.
Quran 5:73. Unbelievers are surely those who say God is the third of the Trinity.
Chancellor Hitler spoke these words.
Mein Kampf 148. If the clerical caste does not disappear voluntarily, I will direct propaganda against the church until people will be unable to hide their disgust when the word church is mentioned. I will have movies made to show how the clergy has exploited people, lived off them, and how they sucked money out of the country. I will show how they worked with Jews, how they practice immoral vice, and how they spread lies. I will make the clergy look ridiculous, a tangled mass of corruption, selfishness, and deceit. Let them complain, for I will have youth and the masses on my side. If I set my mind to it, I will destroy the church. The whole institution is just a hollow shell. One good kick, and it will tumble together in a heap.
It wasn't a coincidence that the dark spirit of Nazism was focused on Islam's enemies. It merely tells the discerning who their God really was. Rebuking the same enemy, Christians and Jews, Islam's spirit cried,
Quran 9, verse 30, "The Jews and the Christians are damned by Allah. How perverse are they!"
Hitler was a prophet engaged in spiritual warfare. By his own admission, he had to destroy Judeo-Christianity in order to establish his own religion.
Mein Kampf 148. One cannot serve two masters.
Satan and Yahweh.
I consider the foundation and the destruction of religion more important than the foundation and destruction of a state, let alone a party.
Yes, Nazism was founded as a religion, one designed to attack and destroy other religions. This revelation is stunning because it makes Nazism and Islam identical. Both tyrants rebuked Judeo-Christianity so that they could build their own religious dogma in its place. Mein Kampf and the Koran gave Hitler and Mohammad the ultimate weapon. Here's how he used it.
Mein Kampf 148. It is certain that all times unscrupulous men did not shrink from making a religion a tool for their political business affairs, for this is always the object. Scoundrels abuse it to serve their base instincts.
Hitler is right. Throughout time, men have used religion to control and fleece the masses, and thereby satiate their personal cravings. But he was also wrong, for the ultimate maestros of religious malfeasance were Der Fuhrer and Der Prophet.